in this brief tutorial, we're going to look at how to create a SumoBot with our EV3 MINDSTORM. So first thing, we want a forever loop because we want this code to go over and over again. We're going to need some logic here. If true, else. We'll drop that in. So first thing we're going to have in there is our light sensor. So again, we need to go in logic and we need to do a comparison. We're going to use reflected light intensity. I want us to keep port 3. If the reflected light intensity is less than, we're going to say 30 to make it a bit more accurate. That'll mean when the light sensor goes over the black line, what is it going to do? From what we've already done, we can use a few of the things we've already done. We want to stop all motors. Then we want to move tank. We want to go at negative, we just use negative 50%. Now, one thing I do say regularly, these numbers are the percentages of the light sensor. I've just said 30, I've just said negative 50. These are the variables that you will need to change in order to personalize this and make it as accurate as possible. When I get to the ultrasonic sensor test or to check whether it can see things, there's a couple of variables that I'm going to deliberately put very high to force you to make extra changes and not just copy my code exactly. So I could even put this at, let's force you to make this change here. Now at negative 5%, that is very, very slow. But you'll see if you actually want to win a SumoBot test, SumoBot challenge, you will need to improve that. It is extremely slow, so I am deliberately making that very slow. You will need to choose how you want to do that. This is roundabout right, but you can tweak this for your own, or more to the point, calibrate this according to your setting. Now, what we need to do here, we need to add another else if. So we need to go to logic, we need to go to comparison, and we need to, so our light sensor, if that goes a black line, it's going to go backwards. What are we going to check next? We're going to compare once again. Nope, already done that, sorry. We're going to use now the ultrasonic sensor. And if the ultrasonic sensor plugged into port 4 sees something that is less than, I'm going to say, 50 centimeters. So anything within a 50 centimeter range, if it sees something, what is it going to do? Now, hopefully you understand that if it sees in the sumo ring, if it sees something, it wants to push it out of the circle. So I'm going 100%. Now, what's important when you're testing this is that when you are testing it, you are not within that 50 centimeter range. Otherwise, it's going to charge at you. So let's read this through. If color sensor plugged into port 3 has a reflected light intensity less than 30, first thing we want to stop all motors and go backwards. We don't want to turn on the spot. Why? Because it may turn out of the circle. If this is not true, then it will go on to this statement. And it'll say, if ultrasonic sensor plugged into port 4 sees something less than 50 centimeters, what's it going to do? It's going to go straight for it. Now, I've said 100%. I'm going to change that variable to 10% because it is really slow. And that's something that you will need to speed up, but I'm not going to give you the exact code to be successful. Now, if this is not true and this is not true, what do we want it to do? If the robot can't see anything, what do we want it to do? We want it to look for something. How does it look for something? It turns around. So we're going to go negative. Let's go negative 70, positive 70. Now, if you know anything about SumoBots and you've done coding before, you would realize that these two motor speeds are quite fast, very fast, because we're doing -70, +70, which almost doubles the speed of it spinning around. What I say to people is that if you are spinning around flat out as fast as you could, and you kept seeing an object out just flash before you, would you be able to accurately walk towards that target or run towards that target straight away every time you saw it? No, you wouldn't. So the ultrasonic sensors need time to be able to see something, or more to the point, they'll see it, but by the time the motors have stopped, the ultrasonic sensor will no longer have an object in its vision, and then that will not be true, so then it will just keep spinning. Hope that makes sense. Let's read through this one more time. If color sensor plugged into port 3 sees a reflected light intensity less than 30, we want to stop all motors. Then we want to go backwards. If ultrasonic sensor test, if this is not true, then it's going to move to here. If ultrasonic sensor plugged into port 4 sees something less than 50 centimeters, what's it going to do? Oops. It's going to move straight towards that object. Else, if that's not true and that's not true, what's it going to do? Else, it's going to spin around. Now, if you copy this code exactly, you will see that you will need to make some modifications. I'm not going to say what needs to be changed, even though I have already said it, but you will need to do that. Have fun.